Welcome to another episode of Red Cape Sports. I'm going to be your host for today, Mitchell Bouchard, and what we're going to go over today are 3 sports card tips for new investors. Dude, I'm just trying to do pen tricks now like Bird. I've been editing too much footage. I'm starting to do weird stuff. Welcome to another episode of Red Cape Sports. I'm your host for today, Mitchell Timothy Bouchard. And I'm still pointing again. So before we get into the tips, don't forget to smash that like button. Also comment and subscribe. And if you haven't already, start posting some of your best pictures of your card collections to our Facebook page. So number 1, focus on key players. What do we mean by key players? Simply put, focus on players that are good, young, established, and have some pretty good stats in their respected sport. So again, if you're investing, for example, a hockey player, you would want somebody who has a lot of good statistics. So you want somebody that has a lot of goals, a lot of assists, and has accumulated a lot of points. For example, somebody like Kyle Connor is a very young hockey player who's got a lot of goals. If you look at his stats, he is up there in the league. One of the best tips and tricks I can give you is just to research. We have Google. We have a whole interweb. We have so much power at the tips of our fingers on our cell phones. So check out Google, go to MLB.com, NBA.com, check out the players' stats. That's where you'll find them. And again, we have tons of videos that go into how to research players, and we even have that one specifically, and we will link that in the description below. A great tip is just to make a list. I just did a video on that, 6 steps for investing in sports players step by step. So that's what you can do. You can check out that video as well. What you have to do is just make a list, get some paper and make a list. Write down the top players that you believe in, do some research on them, and that's going to be the main thing. So number 1, focus on key players and focus on the players that you have research in that are statistically pretty good. Number 2 is going to be mint cards. So what do I mean by that? There's a couple ways about going about it. Depending on the price that you get in on the card, you want to either get a graded card, a highly graded card, specifically a 9 or 10 PSA or BGS. Make sure that your card is good in these 4 criteria: corners, surface, edges, and the centering. And again, we have other videos on this, specifically how to identify mint cards. It's going to be very important. If you don't have cards that are mint, that are in good condition, that are super premium quality, a PSA 10 can go up in value 40-50% in comparison to a PSA 8 or 7. So you want to make sure that your card is in the best condition possible. Look for pristine cards. It's going to add a lot of value, and it's going to save you headaches down the road. Just because you deem the card in good condition doesn't mean a collector or investor will see it the same way. People are very picky when it comes to the cards that they are acquiring, whether it be a collector or investor, specifically investors, because if you don't get a card in good condition, the value is going to diminish quite rapidly. Again, make sure that you get mint cards. Make sure that the condition is very, very good. Tip number 3, make sure that you're ready to hold. Be willing to hold the card for a little while. I suggest at least 6 months for a short-term flip. If you get a card for $10 and it's worth $20 and you just got a deal on it, sure, you can flip it. But in terms of believing in a player, getting them in their first year, you could then sell them in their second, third, fourth year. And that's going to take years of time to wait. Let alone if you have something like a coronavirus in the middle of things, you have to wait to be able to grade these cards. And again, as long as you're willing to wait, you're going to win in the long run. I believe the market's going to go back up after all this, despite what people are saying. It's going to take a little while, but if you're ready to hold, you will win in the end, because they're not going to be making any more of these cards. And again, going back to number 2, if you can get a good mint card of a good young player, going back to number 1, if you can combine all these 3 rules, then you'll win down the road if the player is as successful as you think they will be. So again, in my opinion, short term is going to be 1 to 3 years. That's going to be a flip. Long-term hold is going to be anything 5 years and longer. That's going to be my opinion. For some players, you may have to wait 10, 15, 20 years depending on when you get their card. So for example, if you get a Michael Jordan rookie card, it'll go up in value, it could shoot up, but he's not doing as much as, you know, a rookie player right now in their career. Their careers could change drastically. Whereas Michael Jordan, yeah, he has a documentary coming out. Once sports come back, we can see a big rise in some of the rookie players because they will be able to, you know, go from a mediocre or weak player to an all-star MVP or a championship type of player. I hope you enjoyed this video. It was pretty quick. Just want to give you a couple tips for new investors. Don't forget to smash that like button, comment, subscribe, and again, please take some photos of your best cards. So if you have a card like a Trae Young Hoops, snap a photo of it, post it to our Facebook page at Red Cape Sports. And again, thank you so much for watching. We'll see you in the next video.